Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be ranking every single book that I have read so far this year. If my Goodreads is correct, I have read 73 books as of filming this video, and we are going to go through and tier rank every single one of them. Also, I have about 4 different fans all around me right now. It is 115 degrees outside. It is so ungodly hot, and I'm not turning them off. Okay, the audio in this video might be pretty bad, but I can't, like, I will die if I turn them off. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. It's fine, okay? So the tiers that we have are God tier, the best, great, good, fine, and then no, the worst. We might have to add some tiers in. We'll see how it goes. But we're just gonna get started. It kind of looks like they're just in random order. So we're just gonna start Theft of Swords, which I read this actually a couple months ago and I still haven't posted a vlog for it. This was one of the oldest books that I had owned on my TBR, and I didn't think that I was gonna like it. I ended up really enjoying it, specifically because of the audiobook production. It was just really, really fun. If I had read it without the audiobook, it would be at good, but it is one of the best audiobooks that I've ever listened to, so I think I have to put it at great. I had a great time reading it. We're gonna skip this one. Then we have That One Night by Emily Rath, which is the prequel novella to her Pucking Around hockey romance. This one was like very, very short. I think I would put it between fine and good. I did enjoy it, and I feel like it was a good like prelude to what is going to be an 800-page hockey romance, like wide shoes situation, but there wasn't like much to go off of, so I don't know. I'm gonna put it in fine. I feel like that's too harsh, but like good is too much, so we'll put it there for now. Pen Pal, which was probably one of my favorite horror books that I've read so far this year, but I did not give it 5 stars, so I'm gonna put it down on great. That may change eventually. Confessions, I did give 5 stars. This is a thriller. I loved this book. Ooh, it's definitely between God tier and great. I'm gonna put it on great for now. I feel like I just need to see what's in the God tier at the end to determine if it belongs up there or not, but I loved this book. A Treacherous Curse and a Dangerous Collaboration, which are the 3rd and 4th books in the Veronica Speedwell series. These were both rereads, and this is my all-time favorite series. However, these are not my favorite books in the series. I think book 3 I would put on good. It's not the best book in the series. It's just okay, like it's good, but this is my all-time favorite series, so I still love it. But then the 4th book is amazing, so I'll put that one on great. Then we have a manga. This one is The Girl from the Other Side, which I really loved. I think this one I'll put on good. I think it was a good like beginning to this manga series, and I'm definitely intrigued to read more, but it's not my favorite manga that I've read, so we'll put it on good for now. Okay, let's get rid of all of these Murderbot books. All of these are by Martha Wells. This is a sci-fi robot series that I love. However, I don't love every single book equally. Book 2 is my favorite. I think it's this one, so we'll put that one on great. And then I also really loved book 6, which I think is this one. So we'll do it like that. We'll have these on good, these 2 on great. This one I might move up to God tier. This one, book 2, had a very funny dynamic between 2 different robots. And just the way that they communicated with each other and their banter was hilarious, and I absolutely loved it. I'm pretty sure that was this book. Okay, Jade City, which was a reread. I'm gonna put this one in great. I think the first time that I read it, I rated it 4 stars, and then on the reread, I upped it to like a 4.5. I just love this family and characters so much. I don't really know if like the fantasy world is particularly my favorite or the plot, but I just love the characters so much. Middle Game by Shannon McGuire, which this one is tough. I kind of want to go between great and good. I rated this book 4 stars, but I almost feel like because of the fact that I was so sure it was gonna be 5 stars, and Shannon McGuire is one of my all-time favorite authors, that like I was more disappointed. Like, yes, it's 4 stars, but it's like a very disappointing 4 stars, if that makes sense. But I don't know if putting it on good is too harsh, but I'm gonna go with that. Oh my god, I feel terrible. Shannon, I'm so sorry. Okay, Convenience Store Woman, I loved. I'm gonna put this one on great. I thought this was an amazing character story. You are a person who just loves following one particular character and really like delving into their mind. This one is so good. Moon of the Crusted Snow, I am gonna put this on fine. I was very disappointed in this. This one was like a 5-star prediction for me. I just thought it was too slow, too boring. For how short of a book it was, it took me weeks to read and I was just never excited to pick it up. An Elderly Lady is up to no good. I'm gonna put on great. I really love this book. This book was such a surprise for me because I'd never heard anything about it. I ended up loving it so much. It's about this elderly, like 80-year-old woman who just wants to be left alone and people will not leave her alone, so she murders them. And it's just so funny and so good. Then we have this, which is a Buffy comic, and I'm gonna put that on fine. I don't think it really added anything to my love of Buffy. It was just okay. Like, it's just a thing that I read. Ninth House, we are putting up in God tier. This is one of my favorite books that I've read this year. Let's also just like put Hellbent up there as well, because I also read that. I am obsessed, I'm in love. The fact that it took me so long to finally read Ninth House is a crime, and somebody really should be pressing charges against me for it, but I have now read it. I am now a Ninth House stan, and I feel like I can't wait to reread these 2 books. You know, whenever in the next 10 years Leigh Bardugo decides to grace us with the 3rd book. Who knows when that will be. This Is How You Lose the Time War is also going up in God tier. This was a reread. This is one of my all-time favorite books, and I loved it even more on the 2nd read. The Mythic Dream, I'm gonna put down here on fine. This is an anthology of short stories, and there were a few in here that I really did like, but overall, most of them were just okay, which is why I really struggle with anthologies. But I did find some new authors in here that I'm excited to read like full-length books from, so I'm not mad that I read it. It was just overall fine. Then we have this graphic novel. I think there's another one in here. Okay, Lightfall. These are like cozy fantasy graphic novels. I really liked them. I'm gonna put them on great. They were just super fun if you're looking for like cute, cozy graphic novels. Daughter of No Worlds, I'm gonna put on great. I rated this 4 stars. This is a really good fantasy romance. This book was kind of mostly set up, and I think that the other books in the series could definitely be God tier. I really loved it. I cannot wait to continue. Oh, Drowned Country, which there should be another book with this one, like The Silver Wood or something, but I don't see it. Do y'all see it? I don't see it. I'll count this one as both books. These were rereads. It's 2 fantasy novellas that I really like. I think I would put them on good because I actually think I realized that on the reread, I didn't like them as much as I did the first time, but I do still really recommend them if you're looking for like fantasy novellas with this kind of like folky, forest vibe. Piranesi, I'm putting on, it's between great and good. I think I want to put it on good. I really enjoyed this, but I don't think I loved it nearly as much as most people seem to love it, but I really loved the writing style and it made me want to read more from this author. Okay, then we have all of these Blood on the Tracks manga volumes, which I'm gonna put all of these in good. I really like these. It's very strange and bizarre. I read the first 3 volumes in one night because I was like hooked, and now I'm just waiting for more volumes from my library. Spy Family Volume 1, I'm gonna put this one on great. This was such a great manga that I read, and I think of all of the manga that I've read this year, that one is my favorite. The Dead in the Dark, this is a YA horror book, and I think I'm gonna put this one on good. I did give this one 4 stars, and I did enjoy it. I think it's just not super memorable to me. I actually read this during the month where I read like over 30 books, and like half of these books are from one single month, and I really thought that that was the age of a new era, that I had unlocked some special skill where I could now read 30 books a month. And then the next month I read a whopping 5 books and realized that it was not a new special skill, it was depression. So moral of the story, if you want to read more, get depressed. A Certain Hunger, this one is going up in God tier. This is one of my favorite books that I've read this year. This is another one, if you love books, that is very much like a character study, really delving into the psyche of like one character. This one is great. It's about a female serial killer who eats her victims, and she's in prison and she's telling her story, and it's amazing. Chef's Kiss. Thread of Angels, I'm gonna put this one in good. This is kind of like a fantasy with like Western vibes to it, and I really did love it. However, of all of Rebecca Roanhorse's books that I've read, which I think I've read all of her books, this one's probably my least favorite, but it's still really great. Okay, then we have Lola and the Millionaires Part 1 and 2. This is the first Omegaverse that I have ever read, and I actually did a whole spoiler vlog reading this on my Patreon, which was super fun. And these I'm putting on great, potentially God tier. I don't know, we're gonna think about that one. We're gonna give that a think, but don't be surprised if at the end of this video I have Omegaverse in my God tier. Several people are typing I'm gonna put on good. This was a super weird book that it was like entirely told in like Slack instant messages. It very much felt like a Black Mirror episode. I just don't know if it belongs up here in great. I think it was like just good. Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I'm gonna put this one in great. I really loved this. This was such a great, steamy, cute sapphic romance. I think it was a little too long for me. When it comes to contemporary romance, I prefer them to be just around 300 pages, and this one was closer to 400, so it was just a little long for me, but I did really love it. These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall, and I think I'm gonna put this one on great. Of the 3 YA horror Kate Alice Marshall books I've read, this is my least favorite. I still loved it. She's one of my favorite authors. Her YA horror books are amazing. However, I have another Kate Alice Marshall book in here. Let's pull that one up. What Lies in the Woods. This was her adult thriller. This was not good. I feel like putting it in no the worst is too harsh. So I'm gonna put it in fine. However, I did DNF this book. It felt very basic to me. 30 pages in, I had predicted the entire plot. Okay, A Marvelous Light. I also DNF'd this one. Maybe I should have a category for DNF. Okay, we're gonna add a category for DNF. So let's actually put these into DNF, because I feel bad putting them in fine when I actually did not finish them. So A Marvelous Light, that was just so boring. So boring. You could not get me to care about that book if it was the last thing that I did. A Spindle Splintered, this one I'm gonna put in fine. I have given Alex E. Harrow so many different tries. And like her books just never work for me. I always want them to work. I actually think I have another book in here by her. Yeah, this one. The Six Deaths of the Saint, which is like a 30-page novella short story, which I actually liked this one. This one I'll put in good, but for the most part, her books are just all gigantic misses for me. But I'm gonna keep trying. I'm determined, because something about her and her books always sound so intriguing to me, and people love her, and I am like determined to be one of them. Next up, we have One Dark Window, which is a fantasy romance that I loved. I'm putting this one in great. This is another one kind of like Daughter of No Worlds, where I feel like I will enjoy the sequels more. Loot is a horror book that I read. I use that term very loosely because was it horror? No. I'm gonna put this one in fine. This was one where I feel like I could see potential from this author. There were elements in here that I did really enjoy, but overall it was just kind of a mess. Out There by Kate Folk, which is a collection of short stories. This, I'm obsessed. This is one of the best books that I've read this year, and this proved to me that I can like short story collections. And it was amazing. If you are a fan of Black Mirror, if you like kind of weird speculative things, I feel like you're gonna love this. It was so good. An Encore of Roses, this is the like 7-page extra story to A Dowry of Blood. And I'm gonna put it in good. Like, it's only 7 pages. Yeah, it's good. If you love A Dowry of Blood as much as I do, I would recommend reading it, but it's not anything like super special or that like you have to read. Our Wives Under the Sea, I'm also gonna put this in good. I had super high hopes for this book. I thought it was gonna be 5 stars. I wanted like underwater horror, and this was more about like grief and caretaking. That's just not what I wanted. The World Gives Way, this, you guys know, is one of my favorite books of the year. This was actually the first book that I read in 2023, and it was such a surprise because at the time that I read this, the only person that I'd ever heard about it from was my friend Sarah. Also, what's interesting, I feel like other than This Is How You Lose a Time War and A Certain Hunger, like most of these books in the God tier are ones that I did not expect to love. We have Yellowface, which I'm putting this in great. I did give this 5 stars. I don't think it's like God tier the best for me, just because I don't think it's gonna be like a book that I'm like obsessed about, but I really loved it. I've read, actually, we can pull up, I've read a bunch of books about writers Recently, I like read these books back to back, and this was definitely my favorite of them. The Last Word, I'm also gonna put on great. This one, I gave it 5 stars right when I finished it, but I think looking back, it's more like 4 stars. The Writing Retreat, however, was terrible. We're putting that in No the Worst. I'm sorry, you guys. What the hell was that? That was so bad. And I feel really bad saying that because I know a lot of people love this book. A lot of my friends love this book. Okay, Basil and Oregano, this is another really cute graphic novel. I'm gonna put this one in great. The Book of Gothel, I'm gonna put this one in fine. I gave this 3 stars. I feel like the beginning and the end of this were really good, but the middle of the book was so boring and really dragged out. Daphne by Josh Malerman, I'm gonna put this one in good. I feel like Josh Malerman is so hit or miss for me. Normally, I either hate his books or I love them. This one, I think it was just in between. Like, it was good, but I didn't love it. Same with The Weight of Blood. I'm gonna put this one in good. I enjoyed this. The audiobook was amazing, but like just the book itself, I wasn't like super obsessed with it. Pride and Prejudice, we're putting in God tier. Obviously, it does not belong anywhere else. That was also a reread. I read that book a million times. We Spread, I'm gonna put in, I'm gonna put it in great. This is a tough one. I think I'm gonna put this one in great because I think that this book is very similar in themes and tone to Our Wives Under the Sea. However, I think We Spread did this concept a lot better. Tress of the Emerald Sea, I'm gonna put this one in great. I really loved this book, which was so surprising to me. It was my first Brandon Sanderson, and it was just like such a great time. Sinner by Sierra Simone, I think we're gonna put that in God tier. That is one of my favorite romance books that I've read this year and reminded me why Sierra Simone is one of my favorite romance authors. That book was just perfect. A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. I'm gonna put this one in good. T. Kingfisher is like my all-time favorite author, but I think if like I'm going off of like a ranking of her books, this one would be towards the bottom. It's not the worst book of hers that I've read, and it was really good, and I did really like it. I think just compared to her other books, it was just good. Scourge Between Stars, I'm gonna put this in fine. Honestly, the characters just were a little bit too dumb for me, and they kept making really stupid decisions, and I was just bored. Sister Maiden Monster, this is going in the worst. And I'm actually tempted to move The Writing Retreat out of the worst so that this book can be alone. This book like actually made me angry, whereas like The Writing Retreat, I just thought it was bad and stupid. Lost in the Moment and Found, we're putting in God tier. I think this might be my new favorite book in the Wayward Children series. It was like so amazing, and I'm just so blown away that we are 8 books into this series now, and I'm still finding ones that I think are the best. Shauna Maguire came and she slayed and she did it, and it was amazing. Finlay Donovan, Jumps the Gun. I'm gonna put this one in fine. This is the last Finlay Donovan book that I will read. I thought it was not good. I think that the books have like gone down. Book 1 I gave 5 stars, book 2 I gave 4 stars, this one I gave 2 stars. It was just such a decline in the series. I feel like the series is really dragging, and I just don't care. I don't care about these plots anymore. I don't care about Finlay and her love triangle. Episode 13, I'm gonna put this one in great. This was another amazing audiobook. I feel like the book itself I would put in good. However, the audiobook was so amazing, it moves up to great. Heartless by Elsie Silver, I'm gonna put in great. The first book in this series, I would put in God tier, but I read that last year, and I loved the second book, but I loved the first book more. So this one was like a 4.5, but this is becoming one of my favorite romance series. It's so good. Fourth Wing, where do y'all think Fourth Wing is going? Fourth Wing is going up at the top so much that I'm actually gonna put it in front of everything because this is my favorite book that I've read this year. This book had no reason to be this good, and I'm kind of annoyed that it was so good. And I feel like it has awoken the 15-year-old girl within me because I have not been this obsessed with something since I was 15. I am like deep in the trenches of the Fourth Wing fandom. I've bought merch, I have t-shirts. It has literally reawoken something, and I'm just obsessed with it. And then lastly, we have all of these, what is this series called? I don't remember what this series is called, but they're dark Peter Pan romances. I reread the whole series. I'm gonna put all of these in good. No, I don't know. Something about this series, it's like, it's not good, but there's like crack in it, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure if we investigated a little bit, you would find traces, because why have I read it not only once but twice? Okay, we're gonna reassess a little bit. We're gonna look at this. Let me zoom out so we can look at the whole thing, see if there's anything I wanna move. I feel like this all makes sense. I like that this is the only one in the worst row. It deserves that, it belongs there. Yeah, all of these were kind of like 2 stars. Let me look. Let's see if there's anything in great that I wanna move up. No, I mean, I feel like this is good. I feel like this is right. Everything I think is where it's meant to be. So here is my final ranking of all of the books that I've read so far this year. Next week, we are going to be doing my mid-year freakout tag, where I will be going through literally like all of the best and worst and why I liked them and whatnot. But this was just like a general overview of everything, and it actually has me very excited because before I started this, like my overall view of my reading year this year has been that it's been pretty bad. I feel like the majority of stuff that I've read I did not really enjoy. However, looking at this, there's a lot of things that I've loved. That has me feeling a lot more excited for the second half of the year and hopefully finding some more favorites. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and consider checking out my Patreon, where I post tons of exclusive content like readathons, weekly reading sprints, a book club, a private Discord server, and tons of exclusive videos you can only find on Patreon. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!